Hey, what's going on, guys? Vega here from Serpent X Special Forces, and it's time for our monthly series of what it would cost to build a mining rig at time of filming in current market conditions. And this month, what I went with was the RX 6600 XT. Bet you didn't see that coming. I've been doing a lot of content on this GPU, providing anything from mining data to gaming performance and all that good stuff. And I just wanted to see what it would cost to build a 6 GPU rig with this GPU. Now, the system build that I went with this month is starting off with the CPU is the Intel Pentium Gold G6400 dual core. You could probably find something cheaper because this is the latest gen or the latest socket type of LGA 1200. To keep the CPU cool, Arctic Alpine 12 is perfectly fine, gets the job done. You don't want a CPU cooler that's too tall because it would interfere with your GPUs that are on the frame above. And then the motherboard and memory, you could probably save some money, but let me go over my selection. The motherboard that I select this time is the ASRock H570 Phantom Gaming. Now, the reason I selected is a full ATX motherboard, but also look at the number of PCIe slots and capabilities that we would have. Technically, we have 5 connections in which we could connect 5 GPUs, but if we factor in the M.2, we have 8. So we could possibly run 8 GPUs or more on this motherboard. Now, technically, you could do the same thing with the micro ATX board that I selected as an alternative, and the difference in price is 105 versus 80. So if you want to save some money, you probably go for this motherboard. But you're going to have to split the 2x1 slots with the U-bit adapter that I talk so highly about, where you take a x1 and split it out to 4 USB. Or you can also use the same adapters I'm about to go over for the M.2s. The adapters I'm referring to, and I know a number of our content creators in the space talked about this adapter or showed it performing, but you could take this adapter and that gets you 1 GPU connection off of an M.2 slot, or you could use this one right here, which could actually converts to a x4 instead of a x1, and you can split off of that. However, I would just connect 1 GPU to this and be done with it. This kit is only $17.90, while this one adapter is $10.99, so weigh out your pros and cons. Save money where you can and go from there. Now, memory, you don't need 16 gigabytes of memory, at least right now. I know 4 gigs in my mind is becoming non-efficient for mining. So you at least want 8 gigs, so 2 by 4 gigabyte sticks. Now, you don't need the speeds of 3000 megahertz, but 266 will get the job done. I just went ahead and got it because it was only $63.97. So, moving on, storage, my tried and true ADATA SU635. I said that right? 240 gig, 30 bucks, can't beat it. Now, for pricing on the GPU, I equated everything or equaled out everything to $4,000 for all the GPUs. And that is based upon current market conditions. Now, yes, you may get lucky and get the Newegg shuffle or get the stock drop and get the GPU at MSRP, but even at MSRP, some manufacturers are selling these cards at $550 plus. So really it just comes down to what you're able to get your hands on. But that is the total price that I came up with this build. And then for power, you can go one of 2 ways, as I mentioned in each of my videos. So one is ATX power. So we got the Thermaltake Tough Power 1200 watt. Or you could go with the Parallel Miner Kit. And the Parallel Miner Kit is currently out of stock, but they usually do pretty good about getting things back in stock. And you just need to make sure that you have enough 6 pins, 8 pins, whatever you need. And the reason I say that is, for example, this GPU has 1 8-pin. You're going to need another one or a 6-pin for your riser. So you really want to connect each GPU and riser kind of on the same strand. Now, if you haven't watched my video on how to power your mining rig, I would try to have that link down for you below. But what you need to pay attention to is when you're running on an ATX power supply or even a server power supply, that one strand is only rated for so much amps, so many watts. And you don't want to overcome that, especially if the drivers crash and the system starts pulling more wattage or the stock wattage on top if you're running like 2 GPUs because you split them or whatever. So you may not have to split the GPU or the connections, the power connections for the GPUs. You may be able to get away with each one getting its own dedicated connection with a server power supply from Parallel Miner. If not, the ATX power supply should allow you enough connections to get the job done. I don't suspect that you have too much trouble connecting, which I do not recommend, but technically with this GPU being as efficient as it is, you may be able to connect a SATA to 6-pin connection and power the risers, not the GPU. I'm going to make sure that's very important. You could technically probably get away with that. Nobody's done any testing. Maybe Bitsby tripping or somebody will in the future, but just be mindful of that. 1200 watts is more than enough for you to get the job done with two 750s, accounting for, the at-home user being on 110 or 120 volt. This will be more than enough power for your 6600 XTs, probably a little bit more and then some. Fans, I just got a generic setup. This is the Antec 1200 RPM, 3-pin, 5-volt, proprietary connection, $60. No problem. No big bangs and whistles, just regular fans, all right? If you have some fans on deck, standing by, go ahead and throw them in there. Splitters, if you need them. I don't suspect you will. If you're able to get, especially if you go with the parallel miner kit, you'll probably have each one have its own connection, but if you need some splitters, they're not much either, but I did factor that into the cost. Frame, I would recommend building your own frame or customizing your own. Take a computer case, turn it sideways, make something custom, get some painter sticks, get some plastic dip or rubberizing material to protect it from electric static discharge. Throw the GPUs on there and you're good to go. You don't need to get all crazy. I remember us using milk crates back in the day, so it's not really super important. Otherwise, if you don't want to do it, $60 for a frame, that's not too terrible considering the fact that the Vada frames are like 300 plus now. It's ridiculous. Here's the U-bit adapter that I talked about, which is the takes a by one slot, PCIe by one, and splits it out to 4 USB. I talked about it in each of my videos. You just basically connect it to one of these by one slots and you can connect multiple GPUs. Now, it is going to depend upon your motherboard, chipset, and CPU, the number of lanes you have, but I don't see you having any problems with connecting 6 GPUs on either of these motherboards, let alone 8. However, if you do build one on these motherboards, feel free to comment down below. I haven't seen any issues from my experience and history. Now, for risers, you get a 6-pack for $40, not a problem. U-bit's pretty good, pretty cheap. It comes with the connections you need, USB, 6-pin, Molex, SATA. Now, when I say connect via SATA, I don't mean the connection on the riser. I mean that they should have a cable that converts it. At least that's what I hope in this particular pack, that converts it from SATA to 6-pin. If you get that in this pack, make sure you do that. But just be mindful, be careful, and make sure you keep the community updated on your experience with the 6600 XT. Otherwise, you can get some really good quality risers from my buddy Vistang from GPU Risers. Not sponsored, not affiliate or anything, but if you do check out, use coupon code SERPENT or SERPENTX, one of the two, on checkout to save some money. Now, what is the ROI break even on this? Well, the ROI break even, if you were mining Ethereum at 192 mega hash, 450 watts, 10 cent per kilowatt hour, 1% fees, with a hardware cost, total cost of $4,800, your ROI is 364 days at time of filming, averaging about $13 a day. And then Ravencoin is going to be about 383 days with 102 mega hash, 1,000 watts, because I put it at the max setting. So I'm choosing the 17 mega hash per card, but we're drawing a lot of power. If you can get that a little bit more efficient, you can make some more profit. Little bits here and there add up, guys. At 10 cent per kilowatt hour, 1% fees, 4,800 hardware costs, 383 days, about $12.50 a day in profit. Now, obviously, all of this depends upon market conditions. Right now, the market at time of filming is up. However, there's dips, there's draws, there's pullbacks, there's all kinds of things that could impact your profits. Is it worth building a 6 GPU or 8 GPU rig out of these GPUs? I'm going to say yeah, but it really depends on your situation. Let me just break it down to you. Say, for example, you're somebody that has, 6 580s or 8 580s, and you're thinking about upgrading. This is technically an upgrade to that card because it's more efficient and gets kind of the same hash rate depending on the algorithm. So this is something that you could upgrade those GPUs to become more efficient and more current. However, it's really going to depend upon what you can get these GPUs at. I wouldn't suggest spending, $650 plus, let alone anything over $550. But I say that, and again, people and manufacturers at MSRP are selling it for $550 plus. So you really just need to weigh out the pros and cons for your setup, your system, your electrical. Is your house already getting too hot like mine is, and I have to run the AC all the time? Well, that's going to cost me more electricity. So you just got to weigh out everything. Everybody's situation is different. The market conditions vary, and you just got to figure it out as you go. But it is a good card. It is a pretty efficient card. I wouldn't say it's the king of efficiency. Once again, I still give that crown to the 5600 XT, but like I said, it gets the job done. You all have yourself a great day. Please do me a favor on the way out. Hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and notification bell, as well as check out some of the links down below, like the dogelord.com, where you can get sweet Serpent X merch and much more. And you all take care. I'll catch you next one.